Welcome back, dear students. Hope you all have had your lunch and all fresh and ready to listen to the class now. Welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem, sir. मिगेल नेटवर्क कनेक्ट जाता ना कॉल केला पण आता कॉल करच्या बाहेर असतो आणि ते हांतू ते कोविडाचे ऍड हांतू रिंग जाला की कसं मोड
Good afternoon, guys. I hope I'm audible and now visible also. Yes. Good afternoon. Yes, I had my lunch. I hope you had too. Shall we start? What chapter were we doing before the break? We had started with the account current, is it right? We had started with account current. So are you guys reading and coming? Because I tell you the previous day what we're doing the next day. Did you read it and come? Did you at least open your book once and seen? Okay, very good. So when you do that, the effectiveness will be a bit more of the class. Otherwise, also you can understand, but you need to have patience if you've not done it. If you've just seen it, what is there, what are the contents, and come, it's better. Okay. Yes, but I mentioned in the class, right, yesterday, average due date, account current, and some of bills of exchange I'll do. Yeah. Okay, good. Now, we will discuss about, we'll continue discussing about account current through the problems now. We will discuss the problems. So question number 1, we were solving. We have passed all the entries, the ledger postings we've done. Now, relating to account current, how to do it, what are the next process, what are the next steps involved, we will discuss that. Okay. We'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we will start. Okay, I'll discuss something else for 2 minutes till a little more students join in. Yes. The other day we were talking about this online thing, right? How advantageous it is, what are the things, and I was telling you how we were having a discussion. Some more points I was just thinking. The morning, some students used to tell me that I'm not able to concentrate in the class because someone is talking in the class or something like that. Or there's noise, or I have to travel a lot. I have to travel a lot. 1 hour class, 1.5 hour traveling, that's and all that people used to tell me. Now all that is gone. Now you have no excuses to give. Now, now at the end of the day, the onus is on you. That's where the proof is. Now also people don't listen to it carefully. Now who am I going to blame? What are you going to blame? Maximum we're going to blame is your network, right? For that also you have recorded classes. So yes, internet. Max to max you will blame for your failure tomorrow is internet. Or else at the end of the day, the blame is on you. So this is what I'm telling you, that the problem is within ourselves. Even in real classes, the problem is within ourselves, because there were other students who were listening to the class, right? There were other students who were coming, traveling from far and coming to the class, right? Don't they study and pass? They do. The problem is within ourselves. We just find excuses to. It's very nice to find, if there's a scapegoat, it's nice to put it on someone's head, and we will be like, I was perfect. It was not my fault. It was his fault. It was because of this. It was because of that. But now, when things like this is happening, when you're listening to me, when you're sitting over here, this is a true test for a CA student. How serious are you about the course? How serious are you about this exams? How serious are you about yourself? Those questions are answered now. You get your answers. You get your answers. When I say this in real, you will feel when someone comes and tells me complaints like that, I'll say just focus, focus, focus. It's not possible, not possible. Now there are no issues like that. Now also focus. No, not possible. Why? The problem is not external. The problem is something internal. It's our issues. It's our problems. So realize this. That is maturity. You make the transition. It's fine. I'm not blaming you. It's fine. We are all like that. I'm also like that. We find excuses. We find reasons. We don't want to be the bad guy. We don't want to be the bad person. We find excuses. We say, this is why. This is why. But at the end of the day, it's all internal. You can't fix everything internally. You decide what happens to your life. Remember that. That's very simple, and this is your issue. It's your mindset problem. You can fix it. You can fix it. External issues you can't fix, but internal. So I'm not able to start the house. It's no seriousness. Get that seriousness. If you're not able to be serious, get that seriousness. It's your responsibility. It's your life. It's you're going to pass. You're going to go to the next level. I am not going to get anything if you pass and go to the next level. We are not going to get anything. At the end of the day, you are the one who's going to reap benefits. If you become a chartered accountant, you will be the one who will be earning, who will feel secured in life. You will enjoy those benefits. You will forget what has happened right now. You will completely forget it. You will just focus on your success, and that is how it should be. You will say, I worked hard. I worked hard and I became a chartered accountant. That's how we're going to see. Now, when I talk about my success, have you ever heard me saying that I passed because of this faculty or I passed because of seeing these classes? No, because our efforts are much more than anything else. I'm telling you honestly. What efforts we put is the most. What efforts I put throughout the course is the highest. There were many great teachers I came across throughout the course. Many great teachers I came across throughout the course. But those teachers came in many people's lives, not just mine. There were 1,000 others in whose lives they have come, who've not qualified. So just a teacher coming into your life will not guarantee you your success. It is mine. I take the credit for me passing, and rightly so. I will tell this. Every chartered accountant will tell you he worked hard. So it's because you have to work hard to clear CA. I have to work hard. Just because someone is teaching you, someone is you're coming to the classes. That's not enough. But at the same time, that is required. That is required because you need someone to push you every time. You need someone to tell you that this is how it is. You need that push. For that, you need teachers. But to pass exams, we have to put our own efforts. So we have to put our own efforts to listen to the lectures sometimes, especially when we're going fast and when we're doing some things. We need patience. We need to work hard. So it is the onus is on us, and the benefit also tomorrow we will only reap. So that is what I would like to say. So don't take anything for granted which is around you. Don't say this guy is telling me this, or some teacher is telling me all this. Why is it important? Don't listen from 1 year and leave it. It's not like that anymore. Now you're becoming responsible. You're getting mature. You're like 17, 18-year-olds. In another 5-6 years, you're going to be proper grown-ups, right? 20 to 23, 24 people will expect you to earn your own bread. In another 4-5 years, people will expect you to stand on your own feet. You have to stand on your own feet. That's not very far away. The time is not very far away. So that is why be positive, be optimistic, be open to learn. Okay, be open to learn. And do not close your minds. We are not some third standard, fourth standard, fifth standard, or high school kids anymore. We're not high school kids anymore. Our temperament should be good. We should have a good temperament, especially in a course like this. We need to have a solid temperament. So act matured, behave, and keep working hard. Keep working hard. Remember, whatever efforts you put, whatever dedication you do, whatever pushing you do, pushing your limits, every time you have to push your limits. So every time you push your limits, you are yourself being benefited, not me, not anyone else, not your parents, no one else. You're the one who is getting benefited because of this. Of course, your results will make us happy also, make your parents happy, make us happy also. But the ultimate benefit, you are the one who's going to get ultimate benefit of this. You're going to earn that money. So it's all about, see, now this is the time, this is the time, this 1 year, 2 year where you have to make a transition. Some of you are very smart, some of you know this, some of you acknowledge this fact and work hard, and then some other people are there, some of us are there in this category. I mean, who want to be successful, who doesn't want to be successful, right? Everyone wants to be successful, who want to be successful, but do not have the patience, do not want to put that effort, know that what they're doing is not enough, they know it, but don't know how to change it because they're not open enough. So that issue is there with most of us, and we are the ones who could have been a potential a potential successful or a big charity content you could have been. Your this 1 year, 2 year attitude or your attitude that you're showing right now is going to cost you, right? So you have to have the right attitude. The ones, that's what I'm telling you, the ones who is within the right mindset will become chartered accountants and will not just chartered accountants. Forget CA. CA is a very small thing when it comes to bigger life. It's about you being serious about your ambition, your goals. So that is something that I would like to say. And many of you are, I am sure, are when you look at the big life, CA probably will be a small thing in a future. I don't know. I feel it's a big thing, but yeah, somewhere you will feel there are many other things to come in life, right? Yes. So that's what I would like to say. Be serious about your career. Do not play around. Do not do things that you will regret after few years. Ensure that, because see, if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it for sure. Okay, someone else is going to do it. If you don't do it, you don't do it. Someone else is going to do it, and if that someone else is someone who's close to you, and you see that person grow, your classmate, your batchmate, going on to become chartered accountants, that's not a good thing. You will feel your counterparts growing, and you will feel that okay, I did not perform enough. So you will blame yourself tomorrow for that. So yes, you will blame yourself for that, and that is where you start getting that inferiority complex about yourself. Let's not get there. Let's not get there. Let's just focus on ourselves. Let's keep an open mind to learn. Let's learn as much as possible, and let's have patience. That's important. Okay, let's have patience. It's a long-term game. It's not something that's going to happen in a week or days. It's going to be for years. We need to build a mindset. I do not understand the question, Akshay. Okay, let's go back to the question. Now, question number 1. So we had to prepare the account current. Who is preparing the account current? Mr. AB is preparing the account current. It is to be sent to XY. So XY in account current with AB. We prepared this, and here we wrote just the ledger entries we've written. I told you stop at this. Now what we will do is, don't calculate the balance. Do not calculate the balance. We will start calculating the. First, we'll fill in the due date column. Okay. Have they given the due dates? Have they given the due dates? No, no due dates are given. For the first one, opening balance, leave the due date column empty. Even if you write 1/7, it's not an issue, but it's fine if you leave the due date column empty. Leave it empty. Let's leave it empty. Okay. For this one, what is the due date? Write it as it is, 28/2018. What is the due date over here? Not given. So transaction date only I will write it as due date. Here transaction date will become my due date. If due date is not given, we always consider the transaction date to be due date. Be it here, be it an average due date, we follow the same principle. So this is 2010. Now calculate the outstanding days. Now while calculating the outstanding days, please pay attention. Everyone, are you all with me? Say hi, hello, sir. How are you, sir? What's up, sir? I'm good, thank you. Yes. Now, start calculating. Okay, done. If the due dates are not given, then date only is to be considered. Okay, outstanding days now. Now look at this. Look at this. Please pay attention when I discuss this. This is very important. When we calculate outstanding days, the the same thing, the same thing we have to follow, which is we have to exclude the same principle for calculating the number of days. What is the principle for calculating the number of days in average due date? How did I say? Now, if it was 1st January and we had to calculate up till 31st March, what was the mindset? How many days are left in January, right? That means we excluded the first day. We excluded the first day and we included the last day. So first day we excluded, 30 days is left in January, 28 days is left in February, 31 days in March. This is how we counted. Here also same way we are going to count, ditto the same way, except for the opening balance. Except for what? Except for the opening balance. Because opening balance is not a transaction that happened in this period. Opening balance has already happened in the previous period balance it is. So we have to calculate interest for that day also. In account current, when we do it, we have to calculate the date, that day is also to be included. In average due date, we don't include that date because it is a due date. It is a due date over there. Over here, it is a date on which this much was pending. 1/7, the amount was pending. So the due date is already done. The due date was somewhere in the previous period only. It has been carried forward now. So that is why you have to include the first day also. Are you following? Yes or no? So for the opening balance date only, we have to include the first date as well. For in average due date, we have to exclude. That's what I told you. There it is due date. Here it is opening balance date. Can you tell me how many days then? From where to where should we calculate, sir? From this date to this date. We have to calculate from the date, from the due date generally. For opening balance date, it is the date of opening balance we have to calculate. So when I say from July, how many days should I consider? Should I take 30 days or should I take 31 days? Should I include the opening balance date also? I have to include the opening balance date also, 31 days. You can put a star mark and write a note, okay? 31 days. Then for August, 31. For September, 30. October, 31. How much is the total we get? 123 days. Did you follow this? This is only for opening balance. This is only for opening balance. Next one. Can you calculate from this date 28 to the date of statement preparation? How many days are left? How many days are left in July? How many days are left in July? Sorry, not July. August. How many days are left in August? 11 days. How many days are left in September? 30 days. How many days from October? 31 days. Now, this is not opening balance, so you have to exclude this date. You have to exclude the 28th, just like how we used to do in average due date, same way, 11 days are left. So, 72 days is the total. Can you tell me for this, 28th August to 31/10? Again, calculate like that. How many days left in August? 3 days left in August. How many days from September? 30 days from September. 31 days from October. That is a total of 64 days. Next one, 25/9 to 31/10. How many days in September? 5 days in September. 31 days in October. So that is a total of 36 days. Next one, 2010. 11 days. 31 minus 20, 11 days. From the due date to the date of settling the account, on the date on which you're preparing the account, you have to calculate a Nikhil. So from the due date, we are calculating every time from the due date to this date. This is outstanding days. You're calculating interest. So to calculate interest, you have to calculate like this. I hope you followed this. Every time we're calculating in this sheet only, we're calculating the interest also. So that is why we have to consider how many days it was outstanding for. Can you tell me the products? First one, 11,500 into 123. It is 14 lakh 14,500. Is that correct? $72 into 12,500, 9 lakhs. 64 into 10,400, 6,65,600. 36 into 11,600, 4,17,600. 11 into 11,000, 1,21,000. Now I'll tell you how to close this account. Are you all with me? Okay. Can you tell me under product method, what is the calculation? Product method, how do we calculate interest? Anyone? Interest is equal to, sorry, not amount. We are following product method. Under product method, we multiply it with product, right? Product into product into rate into, what do we do? Into 1 by 12 if it is in terms of months. If you have calculated in terms of days, what do we consider? 1 by 365. Here we have considered in terms of days. This is very simple logic. This is, what is the interest formula generally? Interest is equal to amount into rate. Is this correct? This is the formula generally for interest. Amount into rate into period outstanding. If the period is in days, then 365. Like this we write. Correct, no? So this is how we calculate interest on an amount. This is the PNI formula. I mean, interest is PNI. That is the formula we have written. Now, when I'm talking about product, how do you calculate the product? Can someone tell me, how do we calculate the product? Product is nothing but amount into outstanding days. Is it correct? Amount into outstanding days. That's how we calculated the product. The sum of all this is equal to product. So here also what we do is, we replace this amount into outstanding period. You can see in the formula, instead of saying amount into outstanding days, I will write product. So when I write product, I should not write amount. I should not write this also. Into rate divided by, I can't write just 365. We have to write 1 by 365. So this is how that formula is derived for product method for interest calculation. I hope you've got the logic. So this is how the product method interest is calculated. Now listen to this. Here we have products on both the sides. Product on this side, product on this side also we have. We have to first, you can't hear me. Am I audible? I think I am, right? The mic is moving. Yes. Others says is not. I'm not audible. Anyway, so now here what we should be doing is, instead of calculating interest on both the sides, first we calculate the balance of products. Calculate the total of the product side and tell me which side is more. Debit side is more or credit side is more? Which side is more? Debit side is more. How much is the debit side total? 23 lakh 14,500. 23 lakh 14,500. And what is the balance? 11 lakh 10,300 is the balance. So we write over here by balance of product. This is on 31/10, the date of closing the statement. 31/10. Now always remember, where you write the product, no, the other side you have to calculate the interest. You have to calculate the interest on the other side and you have to write it on the other side. So please tell me how much is the interest. That is because it is, see, this side is more, the debit side is more, so it is debit interest. So you have to debit the interest. Just remember this much. How much is the interest? To interest. How to calculate interest, sir? Product method itself. 1,10,000 into 1,10,300 into, what is the rate of interest? What is the rate of interest they are told? 5% into 1 by 365. Into 1 by 365. So, can you tell me what is the amount you get? 11,10,300. Sorry, 11,10,300 into, into 5% into 1 by 365. How much is the interest amount you get? 152.09. You can write it in decimals, but I'll just write, round it off to the nearest rupee. I'll write 152, nearest rupee, 152. Are you all following this? Did you all follow this? Yes. Now, I wrote it in the amount column. Remember, we have written, this was just for interest calculation. This statement must have interest calculation. So, for interest calculation, you use these columns. This column, this column, this column was for interest calculation. Once you calculate the interest, post it on the amount column. So, 31/10/2018, the interest is this much. Now, total up the balance amount columns and tell me what is the total. Which total is, which is more? Credit side is more. Is the credit side more? 33,000. Credit side is more. And how much is the balance? To balance carried down. 8,848. Okay, that's a very interesting question. DP asks, sir, in the case of sales return, should we consider the due date of the sales? We have considered here 28/8 only as the due date for sales return. Should we consider the sales return? Should we link it to the sales? The answer is yes, but in this question, they are not clear as to which is the sales this is relating to. So consider 28/8 only because they have not mentioned which sales this is relating to. If it was mentioned that it was the 20th August sale, then link it to that only. But here they have not mentioned because there's opening balance also. Even if it's not there, if they don't mention in the brackets, always take the transaction date only. If they are mentioned in the bracket only, then you take the date given, the original sale date. There is a question which I will discuss it. I'll discuss it over there relating to that. Understood this? Did you guys follow this? What is the nature of this balance? Is this debit balance or credit balance? It is credit balance of 8,848. That means I have to pay him or he has to pay me. I have to pay him. Is this payable or receivable? This is amount payable. Very good. This is amount payable by me to him. If it was interest method, I will just show roughly over here. If it was interest method, how would we do it? Because there is no problem on interest method. For exams, product method is important. Okay, interest method is not important. If they don't mention anything in the question, follow product method. Okay, we'll write this note. If the question is silent, about the method to be followed, we must follow products method. In this question, they had given calculate by means of products method. They have given in this question, but in case the question is silent, then we have to follow which method? Products method only you have to follow, because interest method is a little more calculations are a little more and a little more harder it is under interest method. Little more calculations you have to do. Products method is simple comparatively, but we will do it under the interest method also. This one quickly, but you have to help me with the data. XY in account current with AB as on 31/10/2018. How much is the balance? Debit balance or credit balance? I'm just going to write whatever I wrote over here. Best thing is this, right? Oh, no, I don't think I can. Yes. Okay, so we can't do that. Privileges of becoming a chartered accountant, become a CA, then you can do it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this interest calculations. This is gone. Entries are same. The column is different. Yes, we are ready to go. Now, how do we calculate over here? What is the date over here? This is 28 only. Okay. How do we calculate interest? Now, look at this. 11,500 into, what is the interest rate? I'll just calculate for one. 11,500 into, interest rate is 5%. How many days was it outstanding? 123 divided by 365. 123 you've written outstanding days. Could you tell me how much is the amount you get? 193.76. Interest column, it is written in decimals. Then the next one, 12,500 into 75% into 5% into 12,500 into 5% into 72 by 365. Next one, I'm going to trust Chinmay on this. Many said 28, but Chinmay, I'm trusting you because your numbers have been accurate so far. Okay, 10,400 into, next one, 10,400 into 5% into 64 by 365. Chinmay is not going to answer anymore, right? How much is the amount? 91.18. Next one, 11,600 into 5% into 36 by 365. 57.21. 57.21. Okay. Last one. 11,000 into 11 by 365 into 5%. 57 point. No, what? 16.57. 16.57 or 58. Many of you are saying 58 also. Anyway, it doesn't make a difference. Paisas. Okay. Now, how do we do it under the interest method? First, total of the interest column. Total of the interest column. Under products method, we would total of the product column. Here, total of the interest column, and tell me which one is more. Debit side is more. The debit side total is 317.9. Sorry, 05. 317.05. And how much is the balance of interest by balance of interest? 152.08. Are you all following this? 152.08. Manoj, are you following this? So it is 31.10. Okay. So 152.08, round it off. You will consider it as 152 only over here. What happened? Not following Kaveshri. calculating interest. This is calculating individually. You're calculating interest 11,500 into 5% into days divided by outstanding days divided by 365. We kept on calculating like this for each of this, totaled up the interest column, found out the balance. Now post the interest. Interest is to be posted on the other side to interest 152 amount column. 152, I write it in the amount column. Is it the same answer you got previously also? Yes, you got the same answer previously also. So, what is the balance? Same answer, yeah. To balance carried down as 8,848. So this is one more way of calculating. This is another method of calculating or preparing the account current with interest column. Instead of product column, you're calculating directly. Individual interest method, this is directly we're calculating. I hope everyone is comfortable with this. You have followed it is what I am hoping. Yes. Next question. Question number 2. Mr. A owed rupees 4,000 on 1st January 2016 to Mr. X. The following transactions took place between them. It is agreed between the parties that interest at 10% per annum is to be calculated on all the transactions. Shall we start quickly? Now, who is preparing the account current? Let's see. You have to total the amount column. I did not total it up over here. You have to total it up, okay? The amount column is to be totaled up. I did not total it up because it was already totaled up, no, in the previous. You tell me the total, yeah. So this will not make controversies. 33,000. Under interest method, amount column is not to be totaled. Don't come to that conclusion. Okay, 33,000. Balance I've written 8,848, right? Yes, this is correct. Now, let's go on to the next question. Mr. A owed rupees 4,000 on 1st January 2016 to Mr. X. The following transactions took place they've given. They agreed to settle their complete accounts by one single payment on 15th March 2016. Okay, prepare Mr. A in account current with Mr. X. Can you tell me who is preparing this account current? Who's preparing the account current? X. So we have to look at it from X's perspective. Remember that we have to look at it from whose perspective? X's perspective. The entry, how do we pass that in if it was normally ledger account? What you would say? A's account in the books of X. So this is how, this is the reference, this is a cheat code to remember this. Okay. So X is preparing, in the books of X it will be, so it is, we will write it like that only, Mr. A in account current with leave some space for that date also to write, no? Mr. A in account current with X. A in account current with X. And here I will write as on which date? Which date are we preparing this? Okay, this one is interesting. When are we preparing this? (15/3/2016). Given in the question that it was the single payment is to be made on 15/3, so we have to prepare it as on 15/3. Shall we start filling in? First, Mr. A owed 4,000. Who is preparing? Who is preparing? X or A is preparing? Who is preparing X? So Mr. A owed. That means for me it is an asset or liability. It is an asset. Asset will have dash balance. What will asset have? Asset will have debit balance. So what should you write over here? To balance brought down. What is the date? What is the date? When is the balance being brought down? 1st January. 1st January 2016. Are you all comfortable with this much? Okay. Now, shall we start posting entries? Normally, we will start entry. Journal entries will post first. 15th January 2016, X sold goods to Mr. A. What is this? Oh, the amount is 4,000. This one. Opening balance is 4,000. Okay. What is this? This is two sales. This is two sales. On 15/1/2016, it is two sales, 2,230. Mr. X bought goods from Mr. A. Purchases. This is on 29/1/2016. Buy purchases 1,200. Mr. A paid cash to Mr. X. What is this? Mr. A paid cash to Mr. X. Again, credit side. Mr. A is paying me, so cash account debit to A's account, right? You know the journal entries, I hope. Cash account debit to A's account, that is the journal entry. So we're posting that entry by cash. 1,000 rupees. Mr. A accepted a bill drawn by Mr. X for 1 month. Okay, what is the entry for this? A is accepting a bill. A is accepting a bill. That means for X, I'm X, right? I'm X. For me, this is a bill receivable or bill payable. What do you think this is? For me, it is a bill receivable or bill payable. He is accepting that he is going to pay. He is accepting. Acceptance means he is accepting. I drew the bill and I gave it to him. He is accepting that he is going to pay. So you tell me, is this bill receivable for me or is this bill payable for me? It is bill receivable for me. Wonderful. What is the entry for bill receivable? Bill receivable to A. So I will write over here, buy bill receivable. What are the dates? The dates are 10/2 for the previous one, and this is 13/30. 2016, is it? Okay. 16. So this is 2,000 rupees. Are you all comfortable? So much, with so much are you comfortable? Okay. Now, next we have to write the due dates. Shall we write the due dates? For the opening balance, is there a due date? You can write the opening balance date only, but generally we will keep it empty. What about sales entry? X sold goods to Mr. A. What due date should I write? There is due date is not given, so what will I write? Directly the sale entry only will be written as the due date, 15/1. What about purchases? Okay, before that, yeah, purchases, is there a due date for that? No, not given. So what will be considered? 29/1. A paid cash to Mr. X, payment entry, there will be no due date, but you have to write the transaction date only as due date. Mr. A accepted a bill drawn by Mr. X for 1 month. What is the due date for this? 1 month. Is it a bill of exchange? Is it a bill of exchange? Yes. Should you add grace period? Should you add grace period? Read the question. Ignore days of grace. So that means we should not add grace period. Okay. Normally we should. It's a bill of exchange. But specifically given in the question, ignore the grace period. So no need to consider it. So what is the date? 13th April. 13/4. Shall we start calculating the outstanding days? Yes. For the opening balance, we have to be careful. Why should we be careful? Because we have to include the opening balance date also. How many days in January? 31 days. How many days in February? We'll consider it as 28 only. It's a leap year, yes. Okay, we'll consider 29 days. 29 days. We'll consider 29 days. It's a leap year, right? Okay. 29 days. They have not given anything. Generally, they give, consider 28. Okay, they have not given, so we'll consider 29. So 31 plus 29 plus how many days from March? 15. So that's total outstanding days. How many? 75. What about the next one? Sales. How much is the outstanding days? Start calculating from 15-1. How many days left in January? 16 plus 29 plus 15. 60. This one, 29-1 to 15-3. 2 days in January, 29 days in February, 15 days from March. 46. Next one, 10-2, that is 19 days in February and 15 days in March. So that is 34. Oh, next one is interesting, right? Look at the next one. The date comes after the restatement date. The statement date is 15-3. The due date is falling after the statement date. Now this is known as red ink interest. What do we call this as? Red ink interest. Okay. Now for red ink interest, what we do is we don't write anything over here. These columns are left empty. We write it on the other side. We write it on the other side. So what do we have to write is, I will tell you how to write it. But before that, we will leave this empty for now. This will leave empty for now. We will enter the products of the other amounts. We will enter the products of the other amounts. Tell me the products, please. 75 into 4,000. 3 lakhs. 60 into 2,230. 1 lakh, sorry. 1,33,800. 46 into 1,200. 55,200. 34 into 1,000, let me do this. 34,000. Let me also use my brains. Okay, 34,000. Now, this one, you should not write anything. What we have to do is, listen to this very carefully. We write it on the other side. To red ink product, not RIP, red ink product. Okay. Don't write anything in the amount column. Amount column, you should not write anything. You should write in the product column. How much should we write in the product column? It is nothing but, how many days were outstanding? Can you tell me? First, outstanding days. We have to start calculating. Yes, outstanding days, how many? Red ink product, correct. Red ink product. Red ink product. Okay. Now, how to calculate outstanding days? From this date to 13/4, you have to calculate. How many days do you get? 29, is that correct? 16 days left in March, 13 days from April, so that is 29 days. 29 days into, what is the amount? 2,000 rupees. So that is equal to 58,000 rupees. We fill it like this. See, if the due date is after, listen to me very carefully. If the due date is after the date of statement, if the due date is after the statement date, generally the due dates are before the statement date. In the previous problem we did, all the due dates were before the statement date. But if the due date is after the statement date, we call it as red ink interest. You should not write anything in the outstanding days of product column over here. You should write it on the other side. The reverse side, you have to write the days and the amount also, the product also. If you don't write anything in days, that's not an issue, but the product is important for us. So 58,000 you have to write. Did you all follow this? Did you understand this? How do we calculate the outstanding days? We have to start calculating from 15/3 to 13/4. 15/3 to 13/4. 15/3 means how many days left in March? 16 days plus 13 days in the month of April. So 29 days. Here, what is the date we are supposed to write? The date on which you're closing the statement. 15/3 is the date you have to write. I will repeat again. Reading product is written over here. See, sir, why are we not writing this in the amount column? This is a ledger entry. This is ledger entry. This is just interest calculation. This is a ledger entry. This is interest calculation. For the sake of interest calculation, you're writing it on the other side. It is reverse entry because you don't have to, in this case, you don't have to receive interest. You have to pay interest. Like that, it will be. The other way around, it will be. So that is why we are going to write it over here, 58,000. The other side you write. Just this much logic you keep in mind. We have to write it on the other side. I hope everyone is clear on this. Any questions on this? No. So in the case of rating interest, what we do is if the due date is after the settlement date, you have to write it on the other side. The product, if it is interest method, the interest on the other side has to be written. That is all. Amount column is not to be touched. Amount column is not to be touched. Can you tell me what is the first product column we will have to total? Tell me the total of products. Which side is more? 4,91,800. Debit side is more. How much is the balance? 4,02,600 is the balance. Interest is to be calculated on the other side. To interest. 4,02,600 into how much is the interest rate given in the question? 10% is the interest rate given in the question into 1/365 because it is product method. What is the interest we get? 110.30. Sir, why do we write it on the other side and all that discussion? I don't want to do now because it is not necessary, right? Do it in regular classes, but here we will stick to as much as possible exam point of view. So just remember this much. We have limited time also. 110.3. Oh, wait a second. Now here, should we consider 365 or 366 days? Because it's a leap year, you considered 365, you considered 30 days, 29 days in February. So 366 you consider. It will make a little difference, that's all. Anyway, you have to round it off. I think it will come as 110 only. Yes. What is the balance? What is the balance? Tell me the totals, please. Tell me the totals. Which side is more? Which side is more total? 6340 is the balance you are saying. Debit side is more. 6340 is the debit side total. 6340 is the total. The balance is 2140. By balance, carry it down. 2140. Did you all follow this? Oh, I'm sorry. This will come down. This is by balance of products, right? 1 minute. Hamshita tells me something. Sir, agree to settle their accounts on single payment. That means you can write by balance. It's still not wrong, but it is settled. If you're presuming it is settled, it will be by bank account. Okay. 2,140, right? $2,140. Wherever it is more, you have to write like that only, Kesho. There is nothing else to do. Just balances you have to write. This is a regular question. I think you can do this. There is no reading interest in this problem. This is a okay. What is the date for these? Settlement dates only. Okay, 15/3, 15/3. Yes. All these last entries are 15/3 only. Reading interest also 15/3 only. Okay, can you do this problem on your own? Look at the problem, read the problem, and see and tell me if you can do it on your own. It's a normal problem. There is no reading interest. Yes, and it is mentioned as homework also over here. So I'm not going to come to your territory. We'll discuss the answer if you want during the doubt session. Okay, next one is a classic reading interest problem. This has a lot of reading interest in it. Shall we start this problem? Here your reading interest concept will be clear. Absolutely crystal clear it will be. So please pay attention when we discuss this problem. Amount payable by X to Y is 10,000. Okay, they are saying in the month of April 2016, 10,000 was the amount payable opening balance. First, we will see who's preparing the account current. You're required to make out an account current by products method to be rendered by X to Y. Who's preparing the account current? X is preparing. Can you tell me of the account current? How is the account current going to sound like? What is the name of the account? Y in account current with X. Is that correct? Y in account current with X. On 34, 2016. As on 34, 2016. It was given over here. Now, can you tell me who's preparing this? You told me X is preparing this. Is this balance receivable or payable to me? Amount payable by X to Y. Should I pay this or should I receive this? This is payable, right? So tell me, is this a credit balance or debit balance? Which side should I write? Liability it is. We have to write it on the credit side. By balance brought down. By balance brought down 10,000 rupees. This is on 1/4/2016. Received acceptance of X to Y for 2 months. Who's accepting? Who's accepting the bill? Well, this is bill, okay? This is bill of exchange. When they say acceptance, it is bill of exchange. We are X, okay? We are all X. Who's X? I don't know, but we are all X. So, what a bad joke, sir. Okay, so for me, is this a bill payable or is it a bill receivable? It is a bill payable because we are accepting it. We are accepting it. Received acceptance of X. X is giving acceptance. Okay, we are giving acceptance to Y. Y is receiving it. So for us, it is what? Bills payable or bills receivable? It is bills payable. Remember, whoever is accepting, for him it is a bill payable. Here I am accepting. I am expecting. Okay, I am accepting. So for me, it is bills payable. What is the entry for bills payable? What is the entry for bills payable? Bills payable is debited. Since when? Should we debit bills payable? It's a liability. You're accepting an obligation, yaar. Why to bills payable? Correct. Why is account debit to bills payable account? To bills payable account. We have to. It's a liability, so we have to recognize that liability. On which date did we accept this? On 7/4/2016. What is the amount? 5,000. Bills receivable accepted by Y on 7/2/2016 is honored on this date. Can you tell me the entry for honoring the bill? What is the journal entry for honoring the bill? Who's honoring the bill? I mean, who's bills? For me, for X, is it bills receivable or bills payable? Okay, first question. For X, is it bills receivable or bills payable? It is bills receivable. Why is honoring the bill? Why is honoring the bill means what? Why is actually paying the amount? What is the entry when he's paying the amount against the bills receivable? Bank to bills receivable. Is this correct? Is this journal entry correct? Bank or cash to bills receivable. So will it come over here? Will it come in this account? Will this journal entry come over here? No, this is Y's account, right? This is Y's account. It's not going to appear over here. We are not going to write that entry over here because it is the entry is this for it, so it will not appear in the Y's personal account. It is not going to appear. X sold goods to Y, invoice dated 10/5/2016. Now I will tell you what this means. Okay, on which date are we selling the goods? Yes, give a note, Kavya. On which date are we selling the goods? Which month? You have to tell me which month also. 10th of April. Is that correct? 10th of April we are selling the goods. But when are we making the invoice? When are we making the invoice? On 10/5. Generally, the payment is received on the invoice date. The invoice date is separate than the sales date because on that day we are making invoice and we are receiving the payment. So what does this represent? What should we consider this as? 10/5 was the due date for this particular transaction. What is the 10/5 due date for this transaction? Did you all follow this? Are you comfortable with what we're discussing? Yes. So this is what X sold goods. So 2 sales, 15,000. This is on 10/4/2016. Next one, X received a check from Y dated 15/5. This is known as a post-dated check. What is this 15/5? What should we consider? We're receiving it on 12th of April, but it is dated 15/5. What is this 15/5? What should we consider this 15/5 as? This is due date again. This is due date again. This is for considering, for calculating the due date. You have to write that date directly. He gave you a check, so by bank over here. By bank or by cash, you can write it either ways, no problem, because if it's a triple column cash book, we generally say cash. When we're depositing it, we say bank. But here you can treat it as bank, check deposited, not it cleared. You know, it can come like that also. So it is 12/4/2016. We are making this. We're making this entry 7,500. Y sold goods. Y sold goods to X. Again, the invoice date is different. That is due date. 15/5 is due date even in the next one. So we are. Is the sales or purchases for me? For me, is the sales or purchases? What do you think it is? Y sold goods to X. That means it is purchases for us, right? We are purchasing. We are X. Who's X? Don't know, but we are X. So stop. Just stop. How much is the amount? 6,000. X returned goods sold by Y. This is the exact point in the morning. DP had also asked me. Very nice observation DP had done. Sir, now this is what is this? X returned goods. Sales written or purchase written? DP is a person who's listening to the class. Is the sales written or purchase written? Oh, read the question properly. What have they said? X returned goods. Who are we? Who are we? We are X. We are returning the goods. That means it is purchase written. It is purchase written. So what is the entry for purchase written? X to party, right? I mean Y to party. I mean Y to purchase written. Y to purchase written. So here we have to write purchase written. I'll talk about the due date when I discuss the due dates. Now let's just write the date of transaction. Bill accepted by Y is dishonored on this date. Due date. Can you tell me what is the entry for this? Bill accepted by Y is dishonored on this due date. When he accepted the bill, what is the entry? Okay, is this a bill receivable or bill payable for me? First question. Is this a bill receivable or bill payable for me? It's a bill receivable. What is the journal entry when the bill receivable is dishonored? When he accepted the bill, we passed entry, yes or no? Bill receivable to Y. When he accepted it. Now he is dishonoring the bill. Is he going to pay me the money? Dishonor means what? Non-payment. He's not going to pay me the money. What are we going to do if it is dishonored? We are going to say Y to bills receivable. We're going to use that previous entry and we're going to write this entry Y to bills receivable. So basically this journal entry is to be passed. Reverse entry. Sir, it is bills payable it seems. How yeah? Bill is accepted by Y. How is it bills payable? Bills payable for X. Y is accepting. So it is bills receivable. No, Y is accepting, not me. It is bills receivable for me. So what is the entry I have to pass over here now? Y's account debit to bills receivable. So I have to debit to bills receivable. How much is the amount? 5,024. Now, can we fill in the columns? Due date column quickly. Due date columns. Let's start from the debit side as okay. Let's start transaction wise here. Amount payable by X to Y. This is the opening balance. Is there a due date? No, we don't write any due date. Guys, participate in this discussion, please. Received acceptance of X to Y for 2 months. We have written the bills payable. Can you tell me what is the due date? There we accepted it now. On 7th, received acceptance of X. We are accepting it. Accepting it, then it is we are accepting our obligation. For us, it is a liability, bills payable. If he is accepting it, it is his obligation. It is my asset. If he is accepting it. Okay, tell me the due date for this one. Where I have accepted. For me, it's a bills payable. Seven 4 plus 2 months, 7 6 plus 3 days. Why am I adding 3 days of grace? 10-4. Oh, sorry, 10-6. It's a bill of exchange, so we have to. Why am I writing it over here? 10-6. No chance. It is always a bill payable. $10,600. If it was received acceptance of Y, then I considered it as bills receivable for me. But here they have said that it is X. It is actually there could be a mistake in the sentence over here because we are thinking from the perspective of X and saying received. So we can consider it other way around as a mistake in the question itself. But just reading the line and saying it is, we are accepting it. So for us, it is bills. Okay. So 10-6. Next one. X sold goods to Y. What is the due date of this one? X sold goods to Y. The invoice date is to be considered as the due date, which is 10/5. Sir, this one you have ignored. 10th, I have ignored. Why did I ignore it? Because it is not entered in this account at all. Can I go to the next one? You can write a note saying, just write a journal entry and write a note on your own. Why is it not entered over here? Okay. X received a check from Y. X received a check from Y. We write this. I bank 7,500 you've written over there. So is the due date we write 15? Is my voice breaking? Okay, now I hope it is clearer. Wait, I just changed the internet connection. I hope now it's better. Is it better? No. Okay, it is better. Okay, so now coming back to this 15/5, we've finished. This was relating to 7,500. What about this? Y sold goods to X? We have written it in the purchases. So what is the due date over here? 15/5. Now the next one is interesting, guys. Please pay attention. X returned goods sold by Y on 15/4. X returned goods sold by Y on 15/4. Could you please tell me what is the due date I have to consider for this? I have to consider, always remember, when it is linked to any purchases, when they have themselves told it is linked to some purchases, the due date of that purchase is to be considered. Now this is linked to the purchases made on 15/4/2016. When was that purchase made? 15/4/2016. They are referring to this transaction. So borrow the invoice date or borrow the due date from that transaction, which is 15/5. So we will write it for that purchase written also. We will write the due date as 15/5. 15/5. Next one. Yeah, there's some serious issue now. There will be generally only one invoice. They will give a reference, Manoj, which purchase it is relating to. Otherwise, we have to assume. It will be based on assumption. There is no logical explanation to that. You will have to assume. If there are two purchases on the same date, sir, which purchase should we consider? If there are two different due dates, which due date should we consider? Is Manoj's question. So, in such points, you will have to assume something. You will have to assume something. So that is an assumption. You can assume either ways. They will not give like that. They will generally give which purchase it is relating to. It won't come. Don't worry. For your exams, it won't come. This one, what is the due date for this one? The entry on 28th. They have not given any due date, sir. What should we consider? If they have not given any due date, what do we consider? The transaction date only we consider as due date. Are you all comfortable with this? Did you all follow this? Yes. Okay. Now calculate the outstanding days. Let's start with balance brought down. Outstanding days. 1/4/2016 to 30/4/2016. Can you tell me how many days is outstanding? 29 or 30? What do you think the answer is? 30. Very good, yeah. You picked it up. Why sir? Why 30? Because opening balance date. Okay, 30 days. Yes. For the rest of it now, 10, 15, 5. Should we write over here? We will write 13 to 10,000 is how much? 3 lakh. Is that correct? Product is 3 lakh. Okay. For the next one, 12.4. Should I write over here? No. Why shouldn't I write over here? Because this is red ink interest. Remember, the due date is falling after the date on which we are preparing. We are preparing on 30 for the statement. The due date is falling afterwards. When it is like this, I told you it is RIP. What is it? RIP. RIP means what, sir? Red ink product. It will come on the other side. What about this next one, 15.5? Is this also RIP? Yes, this is also RIP. When you send RIP, that time initially someone said RIP before I told it in the class. I was wondering what is RIP, who died. I was just thinking. For this one, this also is RIP. For this one, this is also RIP. Because all these days are after the date on which we are preparing the statement. For this one, this is also RIP. We are preparing on 34th, this is all after that. For this, is it RIP? No, it's not RIP. It is before 34. Should I write it over here? Yes. How many days outstanding? 10 days outstanding. 10 into 5,000 is 50,000. Now, wherever there is RIP, what should we do? We have to write it on the other side. Every entry is to be written on the opposite side. Shall we go on writing on the opposite side? One by one we have to write. First, by red ink product, just write red ink product for each transaction. This is on the date on which you're closing the statement, 34/16. How many days were outstanding? From this date, I have to start calculating up till 10/6. 34 to 10/6 you have to calculate. 34 to 10/6. Who's going to tell me how many days? 31 plus 10 days. Is that correct? 31 plus 10 days. 31 days in the month of May, 10 days in the month of June. So that is a total of 41 days. What is the amount? 41 into 5,000. What is the product? 2,05,000. Understood? Are you all following this? Purchase return, the due date is the date of the purchases. Okay, next one. Like this only write for others also. Don't write RIP in the exams, okay? Please don't write RIP in the exams. It's going to give a very wrong impression. Write red ink product in the exams. In fact, in your notes also write red ink product. Only I can write this. You can write it once you qualify. Okay. How many days? How many days? 10 days, right? Outstanding 10 days. 10 into amount is how much? 15,000. So that is equal to 1,50,000. Can I go to the next one? I will repeat this once more. Why did I write 15.5? Because it was linked to a particular purchases. That is why I wrote 15.5. They had told that it is relating to the purchase made on 15.4. It was made on 15.4. So the due date of that purchase only we have written it as the due date for even the purchase written. Can you tell me how many days now? 15 days? Is it 15 days? Yes. 15 into what is the amount? 1,000. So that is 15,000. Then on the other side, we have to write couple of entries are there. To bank. Oh, not to bank. What am I writing? To RIP. We have to write to RIP. How many days? How many days? 15 days again, right? So 15 days into 7,500. 1,12,500. 1,12,500. This is on 34. Another entry on 34 we have to pass to RIP. How many days is outstanding? Is it 15 days as well? Yes, 15 into 6,000, 90,000. First, which column should we total up? Which column should we total up first? The products column. Tell me which side is more, debit side is more or credit side is more? What is the total of the credit side? 6,70,000, is that correct? What is the balance of products? The balance of products is 4,17,500. I should write interest on the other side. We have to calculate the interest on the other side. This is on 34. All this happens on 34 only. On what amount should I calculate interest? On 4,17,500. The balance of product you have to calculate interest. What is the interest rate given in the question? 10% is the interest rate given in the question. So 10% into 1 by 365. Sir, should I consider 366 or 365? Now this is a new financial year, right? So it is 365. That February was in the previous financial year. So this is a new financial year. So it is 365 days plus they have given here in the question itself, they have given it as 365 days. How much is the interest? 114.38. You can write it as 114, no problem. Generally, this column is a ledger account column, so I would like it to be rounded off. But you can write 114.38. It's not wrong. It's not wrong if you write 114.38 as well. Okay, what is the balance? What is the balance? What is the total first? Tell me the total. Which side is more? 26. Yes. Debit side is more. The total is 26,000. What? 75? Have I written the amounts properly? Okay, 26,000, right? 26,000 is the total. And what is the balance? Is it settled? Is it settled? No, it's not settled. So balance carried down. How much the balance carried down? 2,386. You have to consider the interest also 114.38, 114. You have to consider that interest also. Yes, 0.5262 you get if you consider it in decimals. If you consider it in decimals, you will get it as 0.62. I did not. 114 I considered. Nagraj, I hope I am correct now. Are we done? Did you follow this? Yes. There's one more problem. This is homework, okay? You have to do this. Question number 5. The little, red ink interest is also there over here. There's one invoice dated here, which is only one entry is there, which is red ink interest. And one more thing is promissory note given by G2H is given. Treat this as a bill. Okay, treat that as a bill. Now, who's preparing this? The following are the transactions that took place between G and H during the period. They have not given who's preparing it. You can consider it either ways. Write this in your question. Okay, H to G. So who is preparing it? No, I have considered it the other way. I've said rendered by H to G. Okay, it's all G. Wait. G to H only, right? Because it is all from G's perspective. We will do it G to H. G to H. Okay. Who is preparing it? Who is preparing it now? G is preparing it. So think of the G's perspective. Okay. Think from the G's perspective. G has to prepare. What is the title of the account current? H in account current with G. H in account current with G. Now I have a question. Promissory note given by G to H. I am giving a promissory note. That means I am promising that I am going to pay. Is this a payable or a receivable? What is this? Payable. Treat this as bill payable. Okay. This is bill payable. So what is balance due? What do you mean by balance due? Balance at the beginning. Yes, add grace period. Add grace period also. 3 months. It's a negotiable instrument. All the negotiable instruments we have to add 3 days of grace. Now, tell me what is this balance due to G by H? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? What is my name? My name is G, right? I am G. So for me, balance due to G by H. Can you tell me, is this debit balance or credit balance? This is debit balance. Wonderful. Okay, this was the latest exam question. I don't expect a question like this for your exams because it has been tested in November 2019, the latest attempt. So, the person who is rendering it is the person who's preparing it, Nikhil. Here, if I'm saying prepare account current to be rendered by G, rendering means giving. So he's rendering, he's giving, so he's preparing, G is preparing. So when G is preparing, he's preparing H's account in his books. So H's account in the books of G. You become G. You get into the shoes of G and you're going to look at every transaction like how G would look at that transaction. Okay. So the next question, as I mentioned, is from balance of product method. It appeared in the latest exam for 5 marks. I don't expect this question, something like this, or from this method. I'm giving my personal opinion. When I give my personal opinions, there are 3 stars above. Terms and conditions apply. This is what other sir feels. Okay. His personal feeling. His personal feeling has been proven wrong before. Has been proven right also before many a times, but has been proven wrong also before many a times. I accept it. I'm not saying I'm God. So, but logical, based on, logical, what do you say, interpretation of what is going, what is coming, not coming. Based on that, yes, it is an educated guess, correct. Educated guess, not just a random guess I'm making. I'm just looking at the papers and I'm based on that. Very good term to say, educated guess. Yes. Who was that? Aral. Yeah. Good term, Aral. So, based on that, my educated guess is that this is not so important for our exams. Okay. I told you in account current also, yes, in account current also, I told you what can come for your exams. Here also, I'm making a guess. This is not going to come. Red ink interest possibly is going to come, but red ink interest, don't expect a hardcore red ink interest problem like this one. This is a complete to make you understand the concepts. The latest one, what we did, red ink interest, it was for your knowledge purposes. Okay, because all was red ink interest problem. But this homework problem, or the first problem we did relating to red ink interest, we saw a problem, right? So that kind of problem where it's a mixture of both red ink interest and normal. So that you can expect for your exams. And my bet is on that this time. My bet from account current is on red ink interest this time. And 1 or 2 red ink interest transactions will be there. You have to be careful. You have to identify those red ink interest things over there. So I'm putting my bet over that, not the balance of product method for your attempt. Okay. So there is one more method of that counting days. You can ignore that for the exam point of view. Epoch method or backward method. You can completely ignore that because it is just number of days calculation. It's not conceptually different. You can ignore that for the exam point of view. From the exam point of view, take that risk. I'm telling you, take that risk. Don't look at it because there are other things you have to look at. So just ignore that epoch method, which is there. Not hip hop method, epoch. Epoch method. Yes. Epoch method. Ignore it. It's not worth your time and not so important for your exams also. That is just calculating the number of days. Okay. Now, and even in the institute, there are no problems relating to that. Only one problem they have taken for explanation, which they have not explained also properly. So I'm saying, and I have not seen that problem in any of the mock test papers, any of the revision test papers, old papers. Nowhere there is any sign of it. So based on that, I'm saying, and also just because of the nature of the kind of concept it is not something an additional concept. It is not an additional concept. So I'm saying, I'm giving you reasoning why I say things. So okay. Do you want to take a break? Quick break, and then we will continue. Yes, we'll take a break. 5 minutes break. No, for that one, no conditions apply. Hello, welcome back. Hi, hi, hi. No, Chetan, on that day, the invoice was actually issued to him, like given to him. We enter it at the point of purchases or at the point of sale, whenever we're making it, whenever the transaction is happening. Okay, I can, I hope you can see the screen. All right. Now, balance of products or product of balances. Now, this is a little, different. So, when will ICA release RTPs? MTPs should be coming soon. RTPs must have been released by now, but I don't know. Surprisingly, they have not released the RTPs yet. Generally, the RTPs will be released somewhere in the August end itself, or early September at least. You can expect revision test papers to be out. But this time around, revision test papers are not out yet. But you can refer to the old RTPs. The old RTPs are there. Please refer those old RTPs, revision test papers. The mock test papers also, I don't know if ICA is conducting this time mock test or not. I doubt mock test this time. I don't think they will conduct mock test. No chance. Don't expect exams to be postponed. Not happening. I'm telling you, this is not an educated bet. This is an absolute bet. 100%. Exams will not be postponed. Mock test papers will be released, but they will not conduct mock tests. They will release the mock test paper on the internet, but they generally conduct mock test exams. In Udupi, in Mangalore, they conduct mock test exams, but this time they're not going to conduct. That is for sure. They should conduct, sir, but they are not going to conduct. Yeah, and remember, don't expect exams to be postponed. Don't even think of it. I will tell you, don't even think of it. You're putting yourself into big trouble when you're doing that. Don't even think in that perspective. Look at those JEE NEET students. Look at those students. No, I know. You just asked, but I just wanted to talk about it. They were ranting everywhere. They were protesting, but the exams were held. The ones who were protesting, the ones who were fighting for it, are the biggest losers today. So the exams were held. They are probably losing. If they studied, good for them. If they did not study, lost 1 year. Simply they're going to lose. So 1 year or 6 months or whatever their exam point is. So for us also, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't even think of it, because exams are going to be conducted on national level. Exams are being conducted. JEE, NEET have been conducted in the month of September. Ours is in November. They will find better ways to deal with things in the month of November, I'm sure. So it is going to happen for sure. It's going to happen for sure. Now you think even the May exam should have been conducted. Don't you think May exams should have been conducted? Because absolutely nothing. Now the situation is 10%, 50 times worse. Situation is 50 times worse now, but now they're conducting exams. In May, it was definitely possible. We just did not have the guts to conduct the exams. That's all. Yes, at least in July, they should have conducted the exams. No, I really feel they should have. At that point of time, the students' mindset was gone. So I was like, shouldn't conduct, because the students were anticipating it to be. No one was studying. Everyone was saying, sir, we're not studying, we're not studying. So everyone was, I mean, most of them, whoever got in touch with me, was saying that they are not studying. They are thinking they have wasted time, because the exams kept postponing. 2 or 3 times, I think it postponed last time. So for that sake, for student psychology, it was a big hit. So good thing they postponed it. Good thing they cancelled it, because no one was studying. That ground reality was that at that point. wholesale everyone would have failed. Most of them would not write the exams. So it's a good thing for majority of the students. But this time it's not going to happen like that. Do not expect anything. It's not going to happen. You are going to write exams on November 9, 100% sure. And do not even think of it. Do not even think of it. Should not come to your mind. Over. Last time you were having a discussion about this, we're not even going to talk about this in the future. Okay, now, yes, it's already fixed. It's going to happen. So do not think of it, because it shouldn't happen. According to me, it shouldn't get postponed. We are losing, yeah, if you do it simply six months every time it goes forward. At the end of the day, we will become, our age is going forward. No, we will become CA 6 months late, 1 year late. We will become chartered accountants late. So that is an issue for us. Now we will not understand, but in the future, after 3-4 years, you will realize it. 6 months salary lost, correct? 6 months salary, when you probably become chartered accountants, the chartered accountants starting opening salary would be somewhere around 75-80,000. Today it is around 65-70,000. So it would be 80,000 or something. 80,000 into 6 months. Calculate 80,000 into 6 months, how much money you're losing. 4,80,000, right? That's a lot of cash to lose. Yes. So don't even hope for it. Don't even think of it. It shouldn't happen. More than that, you will be older. You will be 6 months older. That is an issue, right? You will be 6 months older. Buddha you will become. Okay. So let's discuss this. Ramesh has a current account with... Yes, let's not record contingent assets. Oh, guest appearance, Krishnaraj. Ramesh has a current account with partnership firm. He has a debit balance of 85,000 rupees as on 1/7/2018. He has further deposited the following amounts. 1,23,000, 21,000 is given. This was deposited by him. He withdrew the following amounts, that is 92,000 and 11,500 is withdrawn. Show Ramesh's account in the books of the firm. Interest is to be calculated at 10% on debit balance and 8% on credit balance. You are required to prepare account current as on 30 September 2018 by means of product of balances method. Here what we do is we calculate the balance ka product. Every time we will write the balance and we find out the balance ka product. Now you will fill, this is the columns, okay? This is how the columns will look. Now if you notice, this is similar to your passbook. If you've seen a passbook, only this much. This is how our passbook generally looks, right? There's a date column in our passbook. There's a particulars column in our passbook, a debit, a credit, and the nature of balance. That is, what is this balance? Balance amount will be there. So this is our passbook. Remember the passbook format for this. It is the passbook format. In addition to that passbook, we have two more columns. What are the two more columns? Debit product and credit product. Why do we have these columns? Why do we use these columns? This is for calculation of interest. This is for calculation of interest, debit and credit products. Now, as the method's name only says, this is product of balances. Every time we have to calculate the balance and we have to calculate a product. How to calculate a product? Okay, I forgot to put one line over here. We have to have a column for one more additional column is required. What is that additional column? I think I have the format ready. Outstanding days. For calculation of outstanding days, you need one column also. So this outstanding days column will also appear over there. Okay. So this column will also come, that is outstanding days column will also appear. I'm sorry for the mistake. So it will look something like this. The format will look something like this. Say it's okay, shameless creatures. Can I by any chance add here only? Okay, we will do here only. I'll do some jugaad. Why is it going up? Okay. Okay, that's a column. Okay, outstanding days. Why are you sorry, Manat? Outstanding days, we need a column. So I've written a column over here. This is balance amount. Okay, so these three columns are for what? For interest calculation. These three columns are for interest calculation. We have to use these three columns. This is for interest calculation. Shall we start? Shall we start? Let's see how it works. Through the problem itself, we will start. Now we have to write who is preparing the account current. Show Ramesh's account in the books of the firm. So obviously the firm is only preparing. So we say Ramesh in account current with the firm. Which date? As on 30 September 2018. September 2018. Okay. Shall we start recording? He has a debit balance of 85,000 rupees. What should I write over here? To balance brought on or by balance brought on? Think of the debit side and the credit side of the ledger account. On the debit side, what do you write? To balance brought on or by balance brought on? To balance brought down. So this is on 1/7/2018. How much is the balance? 85,000. Directly update it in the balance column. 85,000 rupees. Also write it over here because the total of debits when we do later, we need it. So 85,000 rupees. What is the nature of the balance? Debit balance or credit balance, guys? What is this balance? Debit balance. This is debit balance. Now go on filling each of these transactions date wise. Consider the dates, please. Date wise, go on filling it. First, I will write 14/7/2018. Now I have a question. 1,23,000 is being deposited. It is deposited, right? What is the journal entry when he deposits money? What is B2C? He's depositing into the firm. He has further deposited to the firm. What are you saying? Cash deposit? No. Ramesh's account we're preparing. Ramesh is depositing the money. Ramesh is depositing the money into the firm. What is the entry? We are receiving cash, right? The firm is receiving cash. So cash account debit to Ramesh's account. So Ramesh's account is to be, what should we do with Ramesh's account? Credit Ramesh's account. He's a partner to the firm. He's a partner to the firm. So buy cash. No, this is partnership firm is preparing. I told you generally bank prepares, but this is being prepared by a partnership firm. In the case of a partnership firm also, they may prepare for interest calculations under this method. How much is he giving? 1,23,000. Should I debit this or should I credit this? What should I do? Should I debit this or should I credit this amount? I should credit this amount. The firm is receiving money from him, so we have to credit his account 1,23,000. What is the opening balance before this transaction? It was 85,000 debit balance. Now we have to credit. Can you tell me what is the nature of the balance and what is the amount of the balance? The balance nature is, sir, it's become credit now. And what is the amount? What is the amount? 38,000 is the amount. What is crazy? You wanted to write CR, it became crazy, is it? Okay, next one. 14.7 is entered. After this, which transaction is to be entered? Which is the next transaction we have to enter? Please remember, date-wise we have to enter. Which is the next date? 29.7 is the next date to be recorded. What is this 29.7? He withdrew the following amounts. He is withdrawing the amount. So what do we write for this? To cash, we're going to debit his account. How much are we going to debit in his account? 92,000 rupees. Now, can you tell me what is the nature of the balance? What is the amount of the balance and what is the nature of the balance? There was credit balance. Now it will become debit balance of how much? 54,000 rupees. Debit balance of 54,000 rupees. Can I go to the next one? We have entered this also. Next one. 18.8, right? 18.8, I have to write the deposit. By cash. How much amount is he depositing? 21,000. It is to be credited, right? 21,000 is to be credited. Now, can you tell me what is the nature of the balance after this? Is it still debit balance or has it become credit balance? It's still debit balance. We had a debit balance of 54,000 to start with. Now it's still debit balance, but the balance has come down, right? How much is the balance now? 33,000. 9,9. 11,500 they have said. This is withdrawal. So I will write to cash account. This is withdrawal. I will debit his account because he's withdrawing money. His capital account is coming down to sell for to cash. Now this is a partnership firm, so I'm writing to cash. How much? What is the balance now? We have debited another amount. The balance is still debit. How much is the amount of balance though? The amount of balance is, should we minus or should we add? Oh, should we minus or should we add? Why minus? There was debit balance. There's a debit entry. If there's debit balance and a debit entry, what should you do? It is to be added. No. What? Yeah. Because they are of the same nature, so you have to add 44,500. Did you all follow this? Did you all follow this? Yes. Now I'll tell you under balance of product how to calculate this outstanding days. We have to calculate outstanding days from this date to this date. You have to add no minus 33,000 minus 11,500 is minus 44,500, right, Shreyesh? Okay. How many days? We have to check outstanding days. This balance was outstanding like this for how many days we have to see. If this balance stayed like this for how many days? For how many days did we did it stay? 13 days or 14 days? We had solved this in the class. Okay, anyway. How many days did it stay? 14. We have to consider even the first day. Why? Why should we consider even the first day? Opening balance rule. It was outstanding even for that day. So it is opening balance day. So we have to consider even that day. Opening balance day is also to be considered. So how many days was it outstanding? 14 days. So 14 into 85,000. Can you tell me the nature of this balance? 14 into 84,000 or 85,000. 85,000 is debit balance or credit balance? Debit balance. So it will be debit product. How much is the debit product? 11,90,000 rupees. Next, this balance was outstanding for how many days? 14/7. How many days was it outstanding for? 15 days. Why sir 15? Should you include the opening balance date? The answer is no, don't consider the opening balance date. This is a different method, Rohit. 38,000 into 15. This is credit balance, so I will write it in the credit product column, 5,70,000. This date to this date, how many days were outstanding? 2 plus 20, 2 plus 18, 20 days. So 20 into 54,000. Credit product, this is because this is credit, debit balance. So I will write it in the debit total. Are you all following? Yes. Finally, 18/8 to 9, how many days? 13 days plus 9, 22 days, is it? 22 into 33,000, 7,26,000. What is the nature of this balance? Debit balance. So 7,26,000 is on the debit side. This was outstanding for how many days? 9/9 to 39. It was outstanding for 21 days. Because the last date is 39, so 21 days. Can you tell me how much is the total? 21 into 44,500. How much is the product? And what product is it? Debit product or credit product? Debit product of 9,34,500. First, which column should be totaled? How should we calculate interest and all that? I'll explain over here. So product column, please total up product columns and tell me what is the product column total. Debit product and credit product. Tell me individually, you tell me the totals. Debit product total. How much is the debit product total? Debit is 29,58,500. Credit is 39,30,500. Is this correct or have I written it the other way around? Okay, 39,30,500. Now I've written the other way around. Are you sure? Because I saw someone's message. Who was that? Who was that? Who told me wrong thing? Okay, 39,30,500. Credit side is, how much is the credit side total? 5,70,000. Okay, only one is there. I could have done it. Okay. Now listen. How to calculate the interest over here? How to calculate interest over here? See, you don't have to calculate the balances and then calculate the interest. You have to consider the interest rate directly. You have to consider and you have to calculate. Okay, let's ignore that happened. We'll all ignore. We will all forget that just happened. Okay. Now, here they have told interest is to be calculated at 10% on debit balance and 8% on credit balance. So what is the debit total? Can you tell me what is the debit total we got? 39,30,500. I told ignore that it happened. Stop pulling my legs. Interest on debit balance or debit product. You have to calculate first. The thing was, there was internet issue. Yeah, that is why I was not getting your chats. And there was one person who messaged at the end who messaged the wrong thing. I think she meant to tell me the balance. she was telling me the balance 39 lakh 3500 minus 5 lakh 70,000. Yeah, it was some error of judgment. Okay, anyway, let's ignore it. Interest on debit balance. Can you tell me what is the total of the interest product? Debit product. Debit product. What is the total debit product? 39 lakh 30,500. Guys, come back. What is the interest rate we have to consider? Who was that? Who was that? I want to know who was that. It was a girl. I forgot the name. 39 lakh 30,500 on the debit product. We have to calculate 10%. Now it is product. If it is product, what should we consider? Always remember on product, what should we consider? We should consider 1 by 365. Okay, this is for debit balance. Interest on debit balance is calculated through its product. Through the product of debit balances, we calculate it. How much is it? What is the answer you get? Similarly, on credit product also we have to calculate interest on credit product. That is credit balance, which is calculated through the product. 5,70,000 into what is the interest rate? 8 by 100 into product it is, so 1 by 365. What is the answer we get? 124.93. This is 1076.84, is it? Now I have a question. Should we give interest or receive interest? The firm, you're the firm. Should you give interest or should you receive interest? We have to receive interest. Why are you saying this, sir? Debit balances means what? What is debit balance in the case of a partner or in case of a person? It is an asset for us, right? It is an asset for us. If it's a partner, it's a drawings, that is in excess, negative capital. It is an asset for the business. What is credit balance? It means it's a liability. So interest on debit balance means, is it interest income for the business or interest expense for the business? Interest on debit balance means income or expense. It's an income. How much is the income here? 1076.84 is the income. What about credit balance? 124.93. Can you tell me what is the net? What is the net interest? It is net interest income. For the business, it is income. 951.91, which is nothing but, you know the calculation, 1076.84 minus 124.93. Did you follow this? We will consider this as 952. Okay. Now tell me, should we credit his account or should we debit his account with that interest amount? What is the entry? Interest income it is. So party account debit to interest income. So we have to debit his account to interest income. How much is the debit we have to give? 951 rupees. We have to debit it with 951 rupees. Did you all follow this? Which date? 39. Can you tell me? I'll repeat this again. Interest on debit balance. Debit balance means it is an asset for the business. So this is interest income. This is credit balance means liability for the business. So we have to pay it. So this is payable. 952 is it? Okay. Tell me the total. Which side is more? Debit side is more or credit side is more? Okay, update this also. 44,500. You have debited this. How much is the balance? Can you tell me the balance over here? This one 44,500 plus 952 is, let me do it. Let me compensate for the foolishness that I did a while ago. Okay, I did it on my own. Now the total 1,89,452. Credit side also we will write the same thing. It is like balancing a ledger account. We'll write the same thing. Find out the difference to balance. Oh, okay. Is it debit balance or credit balance? First of all, where should I write the balance? I should write it over here, right? Is it 45,452? Do you get the same amount? Yes. By balance carried down. It's credit on the credit side we are writing. It is debit balance on 39. Next year when we open the account next year on 110, we will write to balance brought down on the debit side 45,452. Next year it will be written like this. Am I clear on this? Did you understand this? Can we start a new chapter? I just added it. This was 952. I added that for to 44,500. Debit balance was there 44,500 plus 952. So that is 45,452. Okay, guys, we'll just discuss some stories relating to bills of exchange and then break today. Fifth question, there is no interest rate, it seems. I got a complaint. Is there no interest rate for the fifth question? कौन बनाता है यार ये सब? Interest rate, I don't correct it also. I forget to correct it. Interest rate at 5%. Interest rate at 5%. Okay. Guys, are you with me? Are you there? Oh, yes. Yes, that's correct, Swati. Now we will discuss a new chapter, Bills of Exchange. I want your attention for this one. It's an easy chapter for exams. I'm not sure how important it is because it is not being asked so often in the exams. But because we have got some chapters deleted since the last time, so you can expect some question from this. Not too heavy, but a 5-mark problem or something can be expected. Okay. Anyway, it's okay. So just to see the marks allocated for this ones, average due date account current has been coming continuously for 5 mark every time for the exams. Average due date also account current, but there is a generally how they ask is it is average due date or account current. Sir, if you have any doubts, please ask it in the doubt sessions now on. I know I've not solved the question. Some of the questions I've solved many, but some of the questions I've not solved, which I've got on WhatsApp. But come to the doubt session, we will clear it there. Let everyone get to know your doubts. Let's all mutually benefit because of those questions. So come to the doubt session, respective chapters, and ask those doubts. Okay, I'll try solving some of your questions, but come to the session also because it will help you a lot. Anyway, let's continue our discussion. See, all those things, what it does is doubt sessions and all, it keeps you going. It keeps you, it'll be beyond the class, right? It will be beyond the class and it keeps you going. It keeps you motivated. So which is required. We'll have a doubt solving session today. Yes, we'll have one today. At 8, I will talk to Aishwarya ma'am. What was the topics we finished till now? Depreciation is done, right? So we'll have on consignment and sale of goods act today. Sale of goods on approval basis today. And even average due date and account current we can cover. Yes, ma'am, I want a doubt solving session today. Okay, only consignment and sale of goods on approval basis today. Okay. Okay, as I was mentioning over here, average due date account current comes as an optional generally question. That is 5 marks like that they ask. Generally, third question will be in your question paper. What I've noticed is the third question, the last part, D and E question will be, D will be average date, average due date, and E question will be account current. So they will say answer any one. Generally, that's how they have been asking. But once I think they had asked some other questions also for 5 marks. Sale of goods on approved basis or account current, they had asked in one of the attempts. But generally, it is like this. It's something like this. It's important for your exams. It's easy. Toffee, chocolate marks it is. Very simple marks. So I don't want you to lose on those marks. Average due date also, account current also. They don't ask too technical questions from that. So that is why I want you to focus on average due date and account current. Basic questions have been coming to the exams. So please focus on that. It will take half an hour to 1 hour. Even previous day when you're revising, it will not take a lot of time. Just the concepts you have to be careful about, and the number of day calculation you should know. That's all. If you've seen, we did not discuss anything over there. We were just filling in the columns. We were just filling in the columns and we were doing it. It was very mechanical. So there is no conceptual anything except for that writing Kentish. Probably you should know that we have to write it on the other side. Apart from that, there is absolutely no concept as such in that particular chapter. So please focus on those two chapters, important for our exams. Now, bill of exchange, I'm going to honestly fly through this chapter because we don't have too much time for discussion. So, I mean, for bills of exchange, we've not allotted so much. So, I'll just fly through it. This question was a very easy question for it was that retirement of a bill concept, and renewal also was there. It was an easy question, 5 marks question, and this was 2C, true or false question. Yes, rebate, retirement question. It was 2C was a true or false question which was asked for the exams. So this chapter, just focus on those basic stuff from the exam point of view. I'm telling you, I'm going to keep it as exam point of view as possible even in this class. So C means compulsory. Yes. Shall we start? Bills of exchange. Let's just discuss the concepts today. What happens in the bills of exchange? What are the journal entries and all that I will discuss today. So please pay attention when we have this discussion in the class. Okay, so this is what is a negotiable instrument and all that. First, a negotiable instrument is a document in writing which is given committing to pay some amount that is relating to some money. There will be some money involved over there. So it is promising to pay some money. Now, what is bills of exchange? Bills of exchange is a negotiable instrument. It should be in writing. It is not an oral document. There must be a date on it. It must contain an order to pay a certain sum of money. It must be for money's sake only. There must be money consideration involved over there. The promise to pay must be unconditional. That means there must not be any conditions attached to that agreement to pay. You can't say that I'm going to pay if it rains. You can't say that I will pay you if the vaccine for coronavirus is found. You can't say all this. It should be unconditional. There must be no conditions attached to the promise. The money must be payable to a definite person or to his order to the bearer or to the bearer. So, or to his order or to the bearer. So, what do you mean by order? Order means if a person is telling you that you have to pay to a certain person, that is an order to a certain person, endorsing the bill, or you are discounting the bill with the bank. These are all the orders of the person to whom you had made a promise. For example, I'm sorry. So, for example, let us say that I have drawn a bill to a certain person, and let us say Shrikant. I have drawn a bill on Shrikant's name. Shrikant has accepted the bill. So, I will instruct Shrikant whom to pay on the due date. I might instruct to him, but this must be written clearly in the bills of exchange that on my order you have to pay to that person or to the bearer. Bearer documents, bearer check means the person who is giving it to you, to him only you have to make the payment. The person who bears that document, the person who has that document, to him you have to pay that amount. That is known as bearer bill of exchange. Whoever has it physically on the due date, to him you are making the payment. The draft must be accepted for payment by the party to whom the order is made. That means to whoever you are making the order, you are asking to pay, he must also accept it. He must also accept it. He must also say that, boss, I am accepting this commitment. There must be two-way agreement. You can't say that, Salman Khan has to pay me 5 lakh rupees and write it and keep it with you and call it a bill of exchange. No, it must be a two-way communication. Salman Khan also has to sign over it. It should be properly stamped. There must be proper legal recognition to that document that it is stamped, because it's a negotiable instrument. Payment must be in legal currency of the country. It must be in Indian currency only. There are something called as foreign bills also, which is in foreign currency also. But generally, the bills of exchange is in Indian currency itself. Can we go forward? Parties to a bills of exchange. Drawer. The person who draws the bill is known as the drawer. That is the person who's making the document. Generally, can you tell me who draws the bill? The seller or the buyer? The seller or the buyer? Who's going to draw the bill? Who do you think draws the bill? The seller or the buyer? The seller draws the bill. Wonderful. The seller draws the bill because he's asking the buyer to accept it. The buyer is going to accept it, and the buyer is going to be called as what? The buyer will be known as drawee. The buyer will be known as drawee, or the debtor will be known as drawee. So he's going to accept it. This is where the bill of exchange becomes a legal document. Then payee. Payee is the person to whom you have to pay. Generally, it will be the drawer himself. If he has endorsed the bill, one minute. Some natak is happening on the screen. Let's see what natak. Okay. So if the drawer, generally the payee is the drawer himself. But what might happen is the drawer might endorse the bill to someone or might discount the bill with the bank. So in that case, payee will be different people. It could be the endorsee, the person to whom the bill is endorsed, or it could be the banker, that is to whom the bill is given and discounted. I'll discuss all these concepts. Don't worry. If you don't know what is endorsement, what is bank discounting, all that I will discuss. Sample is bill of exchange. Sample of a bill of exchange. It will look something like this. So all the features what we mentioned is part of this bill of exchange. There must be a stamp. There must be a unconditional payment to make this payment. It must be written properly. It must be accepted by the drawee. The location, the date is to be mentioned over there. And to whom it is to be paid is also to be mentioned over there. So this is how a bill of exchange is going to look. This is the format of a bill of exchange. Then there is a document called promissory note. Promissory note is not two-way communication. Promissory note is one-way communication. So there a person is promising to pay you some amount. For example, let us say Vamshita is promising me that she's writing a document and she's writing, I promise like this, you see a format on your screen now. I agree and promise to pay. Payee's name means my name, she will write. Or order, that is my representative. The sum of rupees, euros, whatever it is, with interest at the annual rate of interest rate and the date also. So this is a promissory note. Here it's a one-way communication. The person who is drawing it is only the drawer, and drawee is the same person. There is no acceptance required over here. That person is promising to the other party that I am going to pay you this much amount through this particular promissory note. Are you all comfortable following? Now, important terminologies. Over here, some important words. We have already seen this during average due date. Term of a bill, usance of a bill, period of a bill is all the same. Expiry or due date of a bill is nothing but the tenure of the bill, duration of the bill is also term of a bill, correct. Expiry due date, I discussed this concept yesterday, right? In average due date, I told you it is nothing but the date of drawing or date of acceptance plus term of the bill, we get the due date. What is maturity date? When you add the 3 days of grace. Days of grace is 3 days. When you add 3 days of grace to the due date, you get maturity date. We had a discussion about this in yesterday's class, if you remember. Can I go to the next slide? Yes. Now, the date of the bill can be determined on 3 different bases. Okay, this is important. Please pay attention. Determination of date of maturity of a bill, or the due date also. For that, we have different types of bills. Now, what are the types of bills? The maturity date of a bill of exchange can be calculated in 3 ways, depending on the nature of the bill, which are as follows. What, sir? One is bill at sight. Bill at sight means, I will discuss what is this bill at sight, bill after date, bill after sight. We will see one by one. I'll show you, put slides for all this. But there are 3 types of bills. What are the 3 types of bills? Bill at sight, bill after date, and bill after sight. Are you all comfortable? Bill at sight, bill after date, and bill after sight. Now, each one of these bills of exchange we will see. Sir, what are you talking about here, sir? I am not following at all, sir. Sir, I am talking about the maturity date. Now, see, when I am talking about a bill of exchange, there are multiple dates involved in a bill of exchange. Yes or no? First, when you are drawing a bill, I'm just going to talk about bill of exchange, not promissory note. So, drawing a bill, there will be a date of drawing. Drawing date will be there. Who will draw it? Who draws it? Who draws it? What is the person's name who draws it? Known as drawer, seller, right? Drawer draws it. So, the drawer is drawing it. So, there is a date on which he is drawing it, which is drawing date. Let us say it is on 3rd of July 37. Then there is a date for acceptance, which is known as acceptance date. Who accepts it? Who accepts it? Drawee accepts it. Now, let's say he is accepting it on 4, or rather, let us say 8th of July. Now, this is a 3-month bill. This is a 3-month bill. Now, sir, this 3-month bill, how should I calculate the due date and maturity date for this? Should I add the 3 months to this, or should I add it to this? Genuine question, right? Because we have two dates. For what should I add this? So we have 2 types of bills of exchange based on this scenario. There's a third scenario which I'll discuss later. But based on this scenario, we have 2 types of dates, which goes like this. Bill after date and bill after sight. Bill after date means, in such cases, the term of bill after date commences from the date of drawing the bill. Now, if this bill of exchange which we were talking about is bill after date, if it is bill after date, so the term is to be added to the drawing date. What should we add it to? The drawing date. 3/7. The date of drawing is 3/7. So can you tell me what is the maturity date going to be? The due date is going to be 3/10. What is the maturity date going to be? 6/10. In common parlance, in solving problems and all, this maturity date itself is due date. Correct? No. But I'm just telling you, technically, we call it as what? Maturity date. So this is the first type. What is this type known as? This is known as bill after date or sight. Bill after date or sight. What is this? Bill after date. This is known as bill after date. Then there is a second type, which is known as bill after sight. Bill after sight means, in such cases, the term of bill after sight commences from the date of acceptance of the bill. So, the term commences from the acceptance of the bill. That means he has to see it. Who has to see it? The drawee has to see it. That is why we call it as bill after sight. So, if this was bill after sight, we have to add 3 months to calculate the due date to this. So, what will be my answer? 8/10 will be my answer. And what will be my maturity date? My maturity date will be 11/10. Are you following? Are you all following? What is this called as? This is bill after sight. Guys, I'm not getting enough responses. Yeah, what is this? Yeah. Yes. Simply yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, clear sir, following sir, after sight, after sight in between. Anyway, we'll stop for today. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir, for the session. Thank you, students. So as sir has said, you will have a doubt clearing session at 8 p.m. The details will be sent to your WhatsApp group. The same login ID password can be used to log in. So tomorrow, again, the same timetable, 8 o'clock it is law. At 11, it will be again accounts, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, again, we'll commence with accounts classes. So dear students, let's end this day with a thought. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. So you all have a dream to be a chartered accountants. So you need to put lots of hard work and you keep up your determination. So hoping that you are going to do that. Wishing you all the best. Thank you. Have a good day.